Downfalls are hard to witness. Whether they're in the poker world or in entertainment or someone you know personally, when you witness a person crumble in front of you, it can be devastating to watch. But like a car crash, a lot of the time you just can't turn away. So let's look at the brutal accident that is Tom Dwan and try to figure out how exactly he got to where he is today. We're gonna get into all of it, but before we do, we wanted to call out that this is our 99th episode. Next week we'll be releasing our 100th episode, a special documentary featuring our interview with Johnny Chan. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell because you don't want to miss it. Known by his online handle, Durrrr, Tom Dwan quickly became a legendary figure in both the online and live poker scenes in the mid-2000s. His rapid rise and completely fearless gameplay earned him fame and a cult-like following.
Oh, that one hurt.
God, my
think he's
eyes
bluffing.
hurt so.
Really
Give
think he's
him
bluffing.
5,000 if you can't show you ace high or better.
But in recent years, his career has taken a dark and concerning turn, plagued by rumors of unpaid debts, failed business promises, and most recently, a highly publicized mental health crisis. Tom Dwan's story is no longer just one of genius and success, it's one of decline, and ultimately, heartbreak. Tom Dwan was born on July 30th, 1986, in Edison, New Jersey. Unlike a lot of other poker pros, Tom Dwan did not rise through the ranks of poker by grinding live games or climbing the traditional ladder. Instead, he emerged during the online poker boom, turning a modest $50 deposit into millions by the age of just 21. He played high-stakes cash games online on sites like Full Tilt Poker and PokerStars, often risking hundreds of thousands of dollars in a single session. But what separated Dwan from the pack was his aggressive, unpredictable style. He played without fear and without hesitation, applying relentless pressure in situations where other players would fold or slow down. Viewers and pros alike were stunned by his ability to read opponents and make daring bluffs.
I had a nickname for you. You know what it was?
What was it?
Duracell. You keep raising and raising and raising and raising.
His presence on televised poker shows like High Stakes Poker, Poker After Dark, and the NBC National Heads Up Championship only added to his legend. In 2009, Tom Dwan took things to another level by issuing the now famous Durrrr Challenge.
In this promotion, which began February 26th, you have the chance, if you're lucky enough and play well enough, to win $1.5 million.
He bet that over the course of 50,000 hands of Heads Up, No Limit Hold'em, or Pot Limit Omaha at $200, $400 blinds, he could beat anybody and offered 3-to-1 odds to any takers. Patrick Antonius and Daniel Jungleman Cates took him up on the offer, but while the challenge was meant to showcase his dominance, it ultimately became symbolic of promises unkept, some foreshadowing of what was to ultimately come. You see, even at the peak of his fame, some questioned whether Dwan's chaotic style was sustainable. By the early 2010s, after Black Friday effectively shut down US-based online poker, Dwan began to disappear from the public eye. He reportedly shifted focus to ultra-high-stakes games in Macau and other parts of Asia, where rumors of billion-dollar games and secretive invitation-only sessions swirled. The problem was that with Dwan increasingly outside the spotlight, accountability vanished. The Durrrr Challenge stalled indefinitely, with Cates reportedly ahead by over $1.2 million. Despite contractually owing penalty payments for not finishing, Dwan dragged his feet for years, only making partial payments, and to this day the challenge still remains incomplete. In the meantime, whispers of unpaid debts began to surface. Players and insiders began voicing suspicions that Dwan's finances were not as solid as his image projected. Some claimed he was routinely borrowing large sums from other players to buy into games or settle short-term obligations. By the early 2000s, those whispers turned into public accusations. In 2024, Canadian high-stakes pro Peter Jetton took to social media to accuse Dwan of owing him $226,000 for over 4 years. Jetton described Dwan as dodging payments, making excuses, and behaving as though he was above basic financial responsibility. But this was only the beginning. High-stakes sports bettor and former NBA exec, and this is likely going to be mispronounced, Haralobos Vulgaris, alleged that Dwan had reneged on a massive profit-splitting deal involving a betting syndicate, costing him mid-7 figures. These accusations accusations painted a picture of a man living on borrowed time and borrowed money, while continuing to buy into elite cash games and maintain the appearance of wealth and success. Doug Polk, a vocal poker commentator and pro who has his own really great YouTube channel, added fuel to the fire by claiming on his YouTube channel that Dwan could owe as much as $30 million to various individuals. He implied that Dwan's repayment strategy prioritized keeping peace with high-powered creditors, some allegedly with criminal connections, at the expense of smaller, less threatening lenders. Though Dwan has never publicly addressed the specific allegations in detail, he has touched on them on occasion, briefly. His ongoing silence and his lack of legal pushback have led many in the poker community to believe that the rumors do hold weight. And then, just this month, the poker world was stunned when Dwan posted a series of tweets from a London mental health facility. The tweets were erratic and alarming. He claimed that he had been forcibly detained, that his phone had been taken, and that he had been subjected to abuse by hospital staff. He made repeated allegations that intelligence agencies and unknown operatives were conspiring against him. At one point, he mentioned having been tied up and sustaining injuries while being deported from an unnamed country. The tweets, which were full of paranoia and distress, were later deleted, but not before they raised serious concerns among fans and peers. While some speculated that he was in the middle of a mental health breakdown or experiencing delusions, others suggested he may have been overmedicated or mistreated by authorities. Regardless, the incident marked a new low in Dwan's public image, one where not only his finances, but also his well-being, were clearly in disarray. And despite efforts by some in the poker community to express concern and reach out, Dwan has remained largely silent since the episode. No official statement has been made by his representatives, and he's not returned to public play in any meaningful way since the hospitalization. So how did one of poker's most celebrated minds fall so far? The story of Tom Dwan is not one of a single event, but of a gradual erosion. The erosion of trust, the erosion of accountability, and ultimately, perhaps, of personal stability. He was a trailblazer during the poker boom. He was young, he was brilliant, he was unpredictable, and he was bold. But as poker matured and as the industry moved into a more regulated and professional era, Tom Dwan seemed to resist evolving with it. Instead of adapting, he receded, playing largely private games, entering questionable business ventures, and racking up liabilities that caught up with him. While many former pros transitioned into coaching, into streaming, or building poker platforms, Tom Dwan remained a ghost, famous but elusive, rich but reportedly broke, respected but increasingly criticized. And his recent decision to become a brand ambassador for an unregulated offshore poker site, despite his already shaky reputation, was seen by many as a desperate money grab. It didn't help that some of the platforms he had previously supported have been accused of slow payouts and of murky operations. So at the end of the day, in a game that thrives on deception and calculated risk, Dwan blurred the line between persona and person, between illusion and reality. At one point, he was the poster child for poker's bold new era, and now he's an example of what can happen when brilliance is not matched with discipline. But there's still hope that Dwan might find a path to redemption, but the road ahead is uncertain. For now, he remains a troubled figure, haunted by debts, lost trust, and the ghosts of the empire he once built. And that's all we have for this one. Thanks for watching another episode of Poker Boom. What are your thoughts on Tom Dwan? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.